Hi everyone, so today let's solve a Leetcode question called course schedule. Well, given a course schedule arranged this way, A and B, we must take B before we can take course A. For example, here we have a 0, 1 in it for. So to take course 0, we must take course 1 first, which means 1 is prerequisite for this 0. I want to return true to can finish all the courses, otherwise false. Well, let's see examples below. Well, in this example, we have two courses, 1, 0, and 1 is 1. So to take 1, we must take 0 first. And to take 0, we have no prerequisites. So this means we can finish this course by taking 0 first and 1 second. Our second example here, we have two courses also, 0 and 1. However, you see here, first, to take a 1, we have to take 0, right? And second, we see to take 0, we have to take 1. So it's impossible for us to take 0 and 1 at the same time, and we must return false. Now, finish example, let's think about how to solve this problem. Well, for this graph type problem, I would personally prefer DFS search because it's easy to understand and its memory and time capacity efficient. Well, let me draw a graph to understand how to solve this problem. So, let's say we have a graph that looks like this. So to take cos 0, we must take cos 1 first. And to take cos 1, we must take cos 2 first. And cos 2, we have no prerequisites, so we can simplify the equation. And then we want to have a VT set. So let's call it like this. So the VT set with the keys for all the courses. Okay, so this is VT set. And we want to add all courses here. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. And finally, we want to have the graph. So let me use a different color for the graph. And graph will plot the course and its relationship with its prerequisite courses. Okay, so this is graph. And we want to have 0, 1, 2, the course and the key. And want to have all the prerequisites as value. So you see, to take 0, we must take 1. So the prerequisite for 0 is 1. So let me write 1 and its array. And to take 1, you see, we have to take 2 first. So let me write prerequisite here. And finally, take 2, we don't have to take anything. No prerequisite, so it's just an empty array. Now finish to construct the graph. And let's think how to solve this VT set. Well, let me use a different color. Well, first we will traverse this 0, right? And found, okay, this 0 is not visited before. So let's use a -1 to mark this 0 is not visited. So we want to now mark it visited but not yet complete. And then finish this 0. Okay, we have to traverse all its prerequisites because they are first search. So the first prerequisite is 0. And the only prerequisite is 1. So now we have moved to 1. I want to check all the prerequisites of 1. And so temporarily, let's mark 1 as -1 to mark the VT but not yet complete. And for 1, we have only one prerequisite, so we go to 2, right? And mark 2 is VT but not yet complete. Now let's check 2. Well, 2, you see here, no prerequisite. So for 2, we have found, okay, this successful. So we change this visited to completed. So let me change this -1 to 1 to mark is already completed. And then finish with 2, we see 1 has only one prerequisite, 2, and 2 is completed. So 1 is also completed. Let me change the 1 from VT to completed. Okay. And finally, we see, okay, this 0 have only one prerequisite, which is 1. And 1 is now completed, right, in the previous step. And in this way, we want to check 0 at visited to completed. So 0 is also completed. Now we see, okay, in the visited set, both 0 and 1 and 2, which are all nodes in the graph, are completed. This means we can successfully complete this course by traversing 2 first, then 1, and finally 0. And we have to return true in this case, indicating we can successfully finish these courses. Okay, so now let's return true. And our problem is complete. Okay, Now I think you must gain some intuitions of this problem. Let's dive into the coding part. Okay, so before diving into the helper functions for DFS search, let's solve the general main function. So first we need a graph to record all the nodes. So graph will have empty array and with length or numbers of courses. And then we need a visited set to record whether the race is visited or it's completed, right? So array, let's initialize 0 to avoid replication with 1 or -1. So this one, range, also numbers courses. Now, the second thing, once finish the building the graph and visited array, we want to build this graph using the course given. So for let's say for I in this prerequisite, we want to get the first and second value from I. You see the first value is the course and the second value is prerequisite for this course. So the code will be like co-pre equals to I. Now finish that, we want to append this node to the graph, right? And to do this, we use the course as a key and use append operation to append the pre as a value. Now finish building the graph, we will see the helper function. Well, for course in range the numbers of courses, we want to call the helper function to help us run DFS search on each courses and its prerequisite. So we found okay the helper function results tell us it's false, then we have to return false. The helper function will just pass the graph, the VT set, and its course. So if that's not the case, we just return false. And otherwise, if we check helper function is good, this means we have to return true. Okay, now finish the main function. Let's think about how to write helper function. Maybe leave more space here. And helper function should have the variable. I just copy paste all these things. And the first thing is that in helper function, we found a node is visited but not completed. This means it's not successful, and we had to return false. Otherwise, if found okay, this node is completed itself, this means we have successfully visited all prerequisites and we have to return true. And once we finish all things, we want to mark node as visited in the first visited this node. I want to check neighbors, or otherwise, let's check its prerequisites. Okay, all the prerequisites. And if finish the prerequisites good, we must mark this node completed. This means it's successful. And finally, we want to return true. Okay, now finish coding comments. Let's write code itself. Well, first, if found a visit set with this code is -1, so we have to return false because they are side coding the graph. Otherwise, visit set course is 1. So this means there's no cycle in the graph and we can finish. And once finished checking all these cases, so first line count on the node, we'll mark this node a visit, so given the value -1. And you see here also completed, so just copy paste code here to check whether it's 1. And now let's check the prerequisites, which is between the step mark visited and mark completed. Okay, so for the prerequisites in this course, if we'll call the helper function and found okay the prerequisite is not satisfied, this means there's no way we can finish the course because the prerequisite of this course is not finished. We cannot take the course at all, right? Pass the graph and visited and change course to prerequisite. If that's not the case, we just return false. Okay. By this is the case, we mark completed and we want to return true. Okay, now let's take a quick scroll to this code to see if there are typos. Okay, so it's good here, no typo here. I think Let me simply read out to see. Okay, you see the time complexity memory usage is really good for this solution, and overall, it's very easy to understand. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.